Sheila is not going to be on.
Okay, no worries.
It's just me. Just me.
So, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm glad it's Friday afternoon at 4:00.
Do you have your coffee?
I do.
Woo! What do you drink? Are you a shot girl or a coffee girl?
I do like coffee. I'm actually drinking tea right now, but
it's okay.
I love
Our
coffee.
Secret.
I won't tell. Don't tell anybody. Sorry, I just told everybody.
No,
I love it. It's free. It's freezing in my house.
Let me change your life. Honestly, look at this.
Oh, I need to do that.
I'm telling you because, like, I don't know if it's a girl thing. It is a girl thing, but I'm like way above average cold. And I'd feel bad having everybody want to keep the heat on so high, everybody's sweating, and I'm like just getting comfortable. So this is a good pacifier for that. Sitting on a heat pad. It just takes the edge off.
Yes. That's what I should
do. I just want to thank you for being on, and I want to do a whole coffee talk all about you and heroes and letting you know first and foremost that it's people like you that I think are heroes. And
thank you.
It's not this big extravagant thing. It's people making the hard choice to be selfless, to serve when there's so many reasons to not serve and to not be good to people. So I just want to thank you and your participation and your work with CORE. And I think that's awesome. So I want to know, first off, who is your personal hero? And not only who's your personal hero, but that moment in time when you realized they were your hero.
Well, I feel like I have a lot. I feel like it's kind of hard to narrow it down, but I kind of want to say my husband is my hero. He is strong, very strong. He was born with spina bifida. He stopped walking when
Tell me a little details like what that is, because I don't know all the details of what that is.
So spina bifida is a tumor on your spine. So he was born with this, but nobody knew. Doctors didn't know. Nobody diagnosed him until he was 16 months old. He had just learned to walk and he stopped walking. He went back and forth to the hospitals. Nobody could really figure out what was going on. They finally figured out that it had to do with that he had spina bifida, that he had a tumor on his spine that he had had since birth. So at 16 months old, he went into immediate surgery, long surgery. They shaved the tumor off his spine. The doctors didn't think he would ever walk again, but he actually started moving his right foot right away. He started moving his left foot about a month later. And, he still has some issues, but for the most part, he's totally back to normal. He walks. He owns 2 restaurants. He's the reason why I love the restaurant industry. I've been in the industry for a long time, working both in the restaurant and in nonprofits. But he just kind of keeps going, and he has a very unique sense of humor. Oh no. That keeps it going.
Crisis in the comedy always.
He would not, I think his humor gets him through it. And he still has issues to this day, 38 years later, but his humor keeps it going,
Is he able to work out?
He does work out.
Awesome.
He can't do a lot of cardio. He still can't, he doesn't have full function of his left leg, but he works out a lot. He is very muscular. He has a very muscular top half of his body. But yeah, he tries to keep it up, and he's running around a restaurant 4 or 5 days a week.
So what kind of restaurants does he have? Like, tell me what kind of restaurant He has.
He owns 2 restaurants in Nashville, Tennessee. They're burger restaurants. So one is called Brothers Burger Joint, and one is called Brothers. They're in different parts of Nashville, and they serve kind of gourmet style burgers, and they also have Creole food as well. They started as a food truck in Nashville in 2015, and then they were able to go into restaurants, and they opened 2 restaurants in the past 5 years. No, in the past 3 years, they've opened 2 restaurants. So what a time to be in the restaurant industry, but so far they're doing okay.
Yeah. Did he always want to do the food truck thing, or did he eventually want to evolve into a
He's always loved working in restaurants. He's been working in restaurants since he was, for probably 20 years, maybe a little bit more. And he spent 5 years not working in a restaurant. And I think he just didn't feel like himself. So as soon as he quit his desk job, he went straight back to restaurants.
Interesting. Well, that's awesome. And he does sound amazing to have that much willpower, and it's a good chunk of it's in your mind.
Yeah.
Like the amount of suffering and just like crisis in a comedy. Always like, well, what else can you do? Like, these are just my cards. I still got to figure it out. My livelihood depends on it. And probably not going to do everything I want to do, but happy to be here,
Mm-hmm.
So, So besides your man, a non-family member,
okay,
what other hero do you have?
Gosh, I just feel like I'm just so on the spot.
Take your time. Or somebody who really impacted your life, or, just someone who...
I had I had a couple of teachers that I think have really impacted my life. My high school AP English teacher was really instrumental in my life when I was in high school. I was new to town, and he kind of took me aside and helped me. Always was giving me books, always was giving me things to do, and just kind of helped me feel not so alone in a new city.
Where were you from originally to do that move?
So I grew up in Johnson City, Tennessee, which is a teeny tiny town. Well, it's not that teeny anymore. Small town.
Just a southern girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's in eastern Tennessee. And then when I was 16, in between my sophomore and junior year of high school, I moved to South Carolina. So this was in Columbia, South Carolina, that I finished out high school.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's that like down there?
Columbia is great. But I went to the College of Charleston, and Charleston I much prefer. Not to diss on Columbia, but
what was your teacher's name? Do you remember his name?
Mr. Raven, Bob Raven.
That's cute. Teachers do have such a instrumental role for kids. I have a few teachers that impacted me as well.
Yeah.
So tell me, what is a passion of yours? Like, to your core passion?
Well, I think I've spent 13 years in nonprofit, and I think my passion would be giving back, one to my community and one to organizations and places that mean a lot to me or that affect my life. I've worked at a theater. I worked at a theater in Louisville, Kentucky for 11 years. That would probably be another one of my passions, is theater and stories, other people's stories, theater, movies, TV, just listening to other people's lives and learning about other people's lives. Books, huge passion. I'm constantly reading.
So what about giving back charges you? Why does that light you
I
up?
think it makes me, I just want to feel like I've left an impact on the world. I want to feel like I've done something that made the world a little bit better for people while I was here.
That's so cute. I love that. And that's honestly like, literally, I can't think of a better example of what a hero is. Within your control, you know, the few dynamics around you, making just a good impact, small, large. And I just love people like you.
Thank you.
I hope that there's more people that get inspired from realizing that it's okay to be selfless. And that's actually a super good thing in a very selfish world.
Yeah. You
So,
know, I could work, well, I say I could work, but you know, I could choose to work if they'd have me, right? At somewhere else, you know, I could have gone in a lot of different directions. I didn't go into college thinking I want to work in nonprofit. I just kind of fell into it. But I always wanted to be somewhere to make a difference. I guess what I'm trying to say is I could make a lot more money not working in nonprofit. But I think kind of what makes me rich and what makes me keep going is knowing that it's not always about the money. It's not always about getting back money. It's what you get back that kind of fuels your spirit.
yes, we are spirits. It's just, I think the word is like satisfaction. Like it's so satisfying to just like, I don't know what the words are, but just to, like you just said, knowing you're making an impact on someone's life. And every generation, we should be doing that so that collectively life gets better. And I love that. I wish more people were like you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Me too. Wouldn't the world be so much easier?
I know, right? Over it. No, I'm just kidding. So how long have you been at CORE? How long?
So I've been with CORE for 4 months, just 4 months. It's been a crazy, crazy year and a crazy 4 months. I can't believe it's only been 4 months. But I've really enjoyed my time here. It's been a really great way to get to put the restaurant industry and the nonprofit industry together.
Yes, collabs. So I want you to take some time and really explain what is CORE, who are you guys, the team, all that. Yeah.
Sure. So CORE stands for Children of Restaurant Employees. We are a national nonprofit that helps employees, restaurant or bar employees with children when they are facing a medical crisis, an injury, if there's been a death in the family or a natural disaster. We help them by giving them grants to kind of bridge that financial gap in their lives when something terrible has happened. A lot of the employees in the industry don't have that safety net. So that's what we're here for, to kind of help make a little safety net and bridge the gap for them. Because this industry, like there's a few more out there. If you're not working, you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
And if you've been diagnosed with anything, you know, and you can't go into work, or if you have to quarantine at home because you've been diagnosed with COVID, CORE is there to help.
So how much money have you guys raised?
So this year we have raised more than $1.3 million as of now.
Incredible.
Yes, we've helped more than 500 families.
Incredible.
All over the country too.
And see, but that's what's so amazing is like, and even in my church, they said this, they've never had so much giving happen. And that's what's interesting and fascinating about people, I don't know if it's an American thing or not, but you would think it would be the opposite of people like holding their money. But that's why I do have faith and hope for people, is that's such an example of when people should be technically holding their money, they're giving. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. We've had one, we know the need is there. People are really people are in need now everywhere. But so many people have been so gracious to CORE in this past year, that we have been able to grant out that much. It's incredible.
That's really impressive, especially for the times. So I know you've only been there for 4 months, but whether it be somebody else's story that you've heard or something that you've personally witnessed and gone through yourself, but tell me a story or two in particular of a family that really imprinted on your heart or that moved you, or like you were like, yes, this is why I'm doing this.
Sure. Well, actually, kind of have a little bit of a personal story. The week that I started at CORE, one of the employees in my husband's restaurant had to undergo surgery. He took a fall and he had to undergo surgery for vertigo. And then 2 weeks later, he had to undergo surgery for his eyes. And he has a 13-year-old daughter at home that he takes care of. And so immediately I said, well, I work here at CORE now. Why don't you try to apply for a grant? I deal with corporate relations. I don't deal with who gets a grant and who doesn't get a grant. But he applied, and he was awarded a grant. And I got to sit down and talk to him about it. And he was so emotional and overwhelmed. We were doing a little interview with him, and he started to cry. I mean, he's a 60-year-old man who's been instrumental in helping to run and manage my husband's restaurant, and he didn't know what he was going to do. He didn't know how he was going to pay the bills without working. And so he got the grant from CORE, and he was so excited about it. And when we were talking to him, he just started to tear up. It helped him heal. It helped him feel better about himself.
Right.
He was starting to get depressed, and that's when he started to cry, when he was like, I knew there were people out there that cared about me and about making sure that I could take care of my daughter and making sure that I could take care of myself.
Okay, so walk me through the process. I am working at a restaurant. Something happens. Do I go onto your site and try to apply for a grant, or logistically, how does one do that?
Sure. So they can go to our website at coregives.org and apply online. So 3 criteria that you have to meet to be considered for a grant is, 1, you have to be an employee in the food and beverage service industry. So you can work in a restaurant, a food truck, catering, hotel room service, hotel bar, but you have to be in that industry, and you have to have children. And that is one of the requirements our founders stood for. And then the third thing is that you have to have had a qualifying event, such as the medical diagnosis or a surgery or an injury or an illness that keeps you out of work, or there's been a death in your family, or you've been impacted by a natural disaster. We had a lot of people apply that were affected by Hurricane Laura this year in Louisiana. And we had some people apply that were affected by the tornadoes that happened in Middle Tennessee, right down the street from us, back in March. So you can go online, you apply there, you answer some questions, you send us some documents for approval, and then we have a caseworker call and talk to you and kind of try to get your story. And then it goes to a committee, and the committee votes and decides how much grant how much grant will go out. And usually what we do is we will pay rent or mortgage directly, and then we'll help with medical bills, utilities, groceries, diapers, things like that people need.
That's amazing.
And if somebody can't apply online because they're too sick or they're too overwhelmed, then they can be referred. So you can refer somebody else. If you know of an employee that needs help, an employer can help somebody. We had somebody earlier this year whose employee's house burned down. And so he's standing outside literally with the clothes on his back and his family, and he had nothing.
Oh, I could not imagine.
And she reached out I think on social media, and we were like, well, refer him at court. It was like a friend of a friend who knew about court and said, refer him here. And then he was able to get a grant to help him find a hotel room to spend the night in. That's help get some clothes, some food.
Yeah, court is awesome, especially like, I can't remember what the figure was, but the restaurant industry in 2020 alone, it was like $1 billion plus minus is losing out on money this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a huge industry, like consumer spending. It's right. They're like neck and neck. Yeah. And organizations and safety nets like you guys have to exist, because there is no safety net for that industry. Mm-hmm. And it's incredible. And I love what you guys are doing. And it's always interesting how in crisis times, innovation happens, and we're just all trying to make it work. And what's so cool about what we're doing with Heroes and the Miller family is we have this bottle. Mm-hmm. I'll show everybody so they could see. So cylinder, and then you unwrap it. I don't want it to spill, but comes out. And what we've done to help support CORE is we've made this custom bottle where you write the name of your personal hero on the label. It says cheers to, and then here's Heroes. And it's really nice. It's from Paso Robles, which is known for red wine. It's super good. But what Heroes is trying to do, along with Miller family, is innovate and think of ways to help organizations and all causes. You, same here, anybody that's needing help. So I want to know what your initial thoughts and feelings were when this idea came to you about doing a custom bottle for you guys. And with all your years in nonprofit, if you've seen anything like this, like I said, just what were your initial feelings on this whole?
Yeah, it was, well, I actually heard about it. I think you were already working with Sheila Bennett, our executive director, when I started. So my very first day at CORE.
I remember.
It was my very first day. I was like, she was like, oh, we're getting on this call with Shop for Heroes and Miller Family Wine. And I was like, okay, great. And so I just kind of followed along and was just listening. I was like, this is just such a great idea. I loved it. And it's so fun to see it like come out now and be out and I even bought 2 bottles, and I gave one to Sheila, our executive director, a couple days ago.
Did she tell you who her hero was?
Well, no, I gave it to her and I told her that she was my hero.
Oh my gosh.
For all the work that she's done this year. So
I want you to get a picture of you guys, write her name on it, and hashtag us. And
we will.
Website. I mean, you're literally one of my brand partners. We totally do that.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Yeah, definitely. And I have another one that I'm gonna give to somebody else in my family that I'm excited about.
Are they the hero?
Yes. Yeah.
Who's that person?
My father-in-law.
Aw, why?
Yeah. He kind of takes care of our whole family. He takes care of us. He is a partner in the restaurant with my husband and his brother. So they own the restaurant together. So he's just been a huge help tremendously. Both of my in-laws are just great people, awesome people.
You're lucky.
And they do so much for us. And I'm very lucky that we live in the same town. We didn't for a long time. And so I'm excited to be in the same town, and they'll just watch my girls. They'll do, they spoil my kids and they spoil us. So.
You have kids? How old?
I do. I have 2. Hold on one second. So sorry.
No worries.
I have 2 kids. They are 3 and 7. 2 girls.
I love 3-year-olds.
3-year-olds are.
I love it.
I forgot what a 3-year-old was like, but this 3-year-old is pretty amazing.
How so? She's just like well mannered.
Oh no. She is. I mean, she's a little crazy. I can say that because she's my kid, but she doesn't care. When you're 3, you say what you want, you do whatever you want. You're just,
living your best life.
It really is. And it's weird to see him like through COVID, all this, and like wonder what this is gonna be like. My 3-year-old might not remember it. Hopefully. But we spend a lot of time together in the past year, which has been great.
So you are able to work from home often? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's great.
I feel for the people that don't have like the structure of their business to have that opportunity. And it's like, then what? And then who's watching the kids? Are the kids in school? Who's picking up the kids? Like, man, it's real. It's real. So you don't ever need a reason to just stop time and take a moment to let somebody in your life know that they're special and important to you. But it is the holidays, and obviously there's a ton of gift giving. And what is so cool that Heroes is doing is that we're offering this corporate gifting where if people go online and buy 60 of these bottles, they can laser engrave their logo or a message or anything on here. So that's pretty cool. And that's also something unique, whether it be restaurants that want their brand or certain parties. But yeah, did you know that? That's
I think we talked about that last time, but that's really cool.
That is super cool. Have you seen any other unique, it's basically, I wanted a way to touch point a lot of different people in a lot of different organizations. And have you ever seen like a product that helps causes raise funds and awareness and spread their message? Have you ever seen a product like that?
I haven't seen one where you can where it's just so thoughtful for you to be able to do so much with one thing, right? So you can give it as a gift. You can show people how much you love them by giving it, and then it gives back to the community too, which I think is so special and so nice.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, I love it. And it's a really great way for businesses to extend their brand. And it's so good. It's helping causes. It's a personal thing, and it tastes delicious. Like, come on, who doesn't like this?
I'm really excited to try it.
But I just want to thank you for jumping on, telling us a little bit about you, who your heroes are, promoting this awesome message that is working for what you're doing. That is an industry that needs some serious help, and we're going to figure out a way to innovate and help you guys out. I'm very passionate about especially helping kids. So anybody that wants some wine and wants to commemorate who their hero is, please go to shopforheroes.com, be a hero, and buy some bottles.
Yay! Thank you.
Right, babe. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to send this and email this to you, and then eventually we can figure out a way to promote this and maybe put this on your site or social media or whatever. But yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, babe. Anytime. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.